Do you have a problem with his comments?
Yeah, big problem, actually. Kyrie, you wanted your own team. You got it. You know, and by the way, early on I said, boy, you proved me wrong. I thought you were just an offensive weapon. But you got that something that Kobe, or by the way, I'm still not even writing him off this year, in this playoffs, but like Kobe, or I mentioned Tom Brady and Derek Jeter, the kind of guy might mess up under pressure. Now it's going to overtime, but damn, he's going to get a second chance. You know what he's going to do. He's going to kill you. You're that type of dude, a winner like that, a champion. But to say we shouldn't question whether you can lead successfully, of course, that's what these games are. This script isn't written. You write the script. Yes, it's a team sport, but that's the point of being a leader on a team. How often do, like, mid-season interviews, national interviews that you've sat down for, work when that leader airs the dirty laundry and throws young players under the bus? How often does that work? Because it certainly backfired in this case. I know you're searching for answers. You're actually playing very well. It's other players on the team that aren't. But you got to get everyone on the same page. That's part of the leader's responsibility. And if it's not working, we're going to say it's not working. And I got news, Stephen A. This Celtics team went to the conference finals last year without Kyrie or Gordon Hayward. I mentioned it was a mistake not to trade Kyrie at the deadline because you're not going to get anything for him. But you know, I've been thinking about it. Without Kyrie, they play very well. And Gordon Hayward should recover eventually from this injury. Look what happened with Paul George. He got better than ever. If Gordon Hayward becomes most of what he used to be or what he used to be, and he's playing the 3, and Jaylen Brown continues to ascend now, and he's playing the 2, and Tatum's at the 4, and Horford's at the 5, and Rozier and Smart, and these guys are at the 1. Why can't the Celtics win a championship with this group without Kyrie? Because that could happen. So Kyrie, like, these are the questions we ask and the opinions that we have. That's part of the business. That's part of having your own team. Stephen A., he didn't get dealt to the Atlanta Hawks, to the Orlando Magic. He got dealt to the basketball crazy Boston Celtics with a crew. He got dealt to a place with a crew and a great young coach and all that. How much more does he want? So if we notice the team is functioning worse with him than without him, whatever my opinion might be, Kyrie's a killer, he's a winner, all these things, we're going to say what we see. We're going to ask him questions about the way he's leading. Of course we are. That's the job, to ask questions.
Well, first of all, I think you're wrong on a couple of fronts. Not with talking about how he has to be a better leader, because you're absolutely right. The greatness of Kyrie Irving as a player is somewhat stained and sullied by his deficiencies as a leader. He's learning on the job as we speak. So nobody's about to deny that there. Nobody wants to hear a young black man who's elite at his craft, who's rich and famous and a champion, complaining about life. In that regard, he's got to shut up, because ain't nobody trying to hear that nonsense. That much I will give you. But when you break down the basketball analysis, let's make sure we pay attention to a couple of things. And this is where I disagree with you. Number one, you said he went to a crew. That's not necessarily true. They became a crew, but when he arrived, that wasn't necessarily the case. You didn't know what Jason Tatum was going to be. You saw that Jaylen Brown had a little bit of potential. Nobody was thinking about Terry Rozier. Marcus Smart was some kid out of Oklahoma State that some people said, you know what, coming out of Oklahoma State, he's tough, he's defensive-minded and what have you, but he ain't going to knock anybody's socks off. Al Horford was a serviceable to decent big man in Atlanta that people were shocked ended up in Boston and felt somewhat overpaid. That's what Kyrie Irving went to.
What?
And then excuse me, that's what he went to. That's what happened. Excuse me, I said it. I mean, go back and read the reports. That's what everybody was saying.
No, that's not what everybody was saying.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Just go back to what they were saying.
Horford was a decent
Listen,
serviceable big man.
I let you speak. I got to listen to your nonsense talking basketball. I'm almost allergic to it. I let you speak. I didn't say a word. I sat back and I listened. Now you listen. Here's the deal. You don't want to accept the damage that the Gordon Hayward situation did to the Boston Celtics. Nobody wants to talk about that because it makes everybody uncomfortable. It makes me uncomfortable talking about it. You know why it makes me uncomfortable? Because I think Gordon Hayward is a very good guy. I think he's a big-time talent coming out of Utah. Only thing that I'm saying about Gordon Hayward, that was a really, really nasty injury. He had no business coming back as soon as he did, let alone being in the starting lineup. When they decided to do that, It compromised Tatum. It compromised Brown. It compromised Kyrie. It compromised Terry Rozier. It compromised everybody. And then here's the biggest thing.
Stephen A., are you looking at the screen? The numbers are almost the same with him on and off the court.
Listen to Gordon Hayward. Watch the film. And, oh, by the way, talk to a few players and see what they say about him. Go inside to a locker room or talk to opponents that have competed against Gordon Hayward who found themselves feeling sorry for him because they know he's not the same player. We ain't listening to just the numbers like you do. We're watching. And I'm telling you, he's not the same player. Not that he will be, because I think the future's bright. But this year, and
you
this is the point.
For me to refute every one of your points?
This is the point that listen, man. Look, you know what? I'm going to be nice. Because I can eat you alive, but I'm going to be nice.
Eat me alive? You're about to lose every single word out of your mouth was wrong. I'm going to demonstrate it in a second.
Since you think people are interested in hearing what you have to say, go ahead and speak there. Because I was getting ready to get to the point about psychologically what it's done and why those players have a problem. But you don't want to address that. You don't want to address the fact that they went out of their way to look out for Gordon Hayward. And that is what has served to divide this team, not Kyrie Irving. But you don't want to go there.
Well, the numbers just indicated that they're slightly worse with Gordon Hayward on the floor as off, but they're much worse with Kyrie on the floor than off. So to say it's Gordon Hayward issue it may have contributed something. Those are the two pieces they had to integrate into the team or reintegrate. But to pin it on Gordon Hayward, look, Gordon Hayward's injury was a lot like Paul George's, probably worse. And it took Paul George about a year to come back to full strength. I expect the same thing with Gordon Hayward, who was never quite as good as Paul George in the first place, but could return to all-star form. I think that's reasonable. And it's going to take him about a season to get back. Whether or not it was wise to insert him in the starting lineup. The idea that Horford was a serviceable big man, decent to serviceable big man.